Imagine a time when the very heart of your culture is at risk of vanishing. Picture waking up each day knowing that the language you speak, the stories you cherish, and the history that shaped your ancestors are all slipping away, threatened by forces beyond your control. This was the reality for the people of Persia, whose libraries grew emptier and whose ancient tales were gathering dust, nearly forgotten as new rulers brought their own customs and language. In the midst of this uncertainty lived Hakim Abul Qasim Ferdowsi Tusi, a poet born around 940 in the city of Tus, in what we now call Iran. He grew up surrounded by the echoes of a glorious past, yet he saw how quickly those echoes were fading. After the Arab conquest, Persian culture and language were being overshadowed. The grand cities and libraries of Old Persia were now filled with foreign words and unfamiliar traditions. Arabic became the language of government, scholarship, and literature. Persian, once the voice of kings and poets, was pushed aside, its stories at risk of being lost forever. Ferdowsi, deeply devoted to his heritage, felt a growing fear that the wisdom, legends, and values of his people would disappear. He saw the sadness in the eyes of elders who remembered a different time, and he knew something had to be done. Driven by this sense of urgency, Ferdowsi made a bold decision. He would dedicate his life to gathering, preserving, and reviving the great tales of Persia. For 30 long years, he worked tirelessly, pouring his soul into this monumental task. He journeyed across the land, seeking out village elders, storytellers, and anyone who remembered the old legends. He listened carefully, collecting every fragment, every whispered memory, and transformed them into beautiful, flowing Persian poetry. Ferdowsi wrote in pure Persian, deliberately avoiding Arabic words, determined to restore the language's beauty and power. With every verse, he breathed new life into his people's heritage, ensuring it would not be forgotten. The result was the Shahnameh, or the Book of Kings, a literary masterpiece and a fortress for Persian identity. It became a symbol of resilience, pride, and hope for generations to come. Through his words, Ferdowsi did more than write a book. He rekindled the spirit of a nation, giving his people a voice and a legacy that would endure for centuries. The Shahnameh is more than just a book. It's a whole world. It has 60,000 rhyming lines, which is much bigger than the Iliad and Shakespeare's works put together. Ferdowsi wrote about Iran's history from the very beginning of time until the Arab takeover, mixing myths, legends, and real facts. The Shahnameh became Iran's national epic, shaping who they were and what they believed for hundreds of years. Its stories are told in tea houses, shown in art, and woven into everyday life. Ferdowsi's language was clear, grand, and almost entirely Persian, setting a standard that is still used today. The Shahnameh didn't just save stories, it saved the Persian language itself. Its influence still keeps Persian culture strong. Ferdowsi's epic masterpiece, the Shahnameh, unfolds in 3 sweeping parts, each one capturing a different era of Iran's story: the mythical, the heroic, and the historical ages. These sections are not just chapters in a book, but windows into the soul of a civilization, each with its own unique flavor and lessons. The mythical age is where it all begins. Here, Ferdowsi paints a world shrouded in mystery and wonder, telling of the Earth's creation, the rise of the first kings, and the dawn of civilization itself. In these early tales, gods, humans, and demons walk the same Earth, their destinies intertwined. The stories are filled with magical creatures, epic quests, and the eternal struggle between good and evil, a time when the boundaries between the real and the fantastic are blurred. Next comes the heroic age, the heart of the Shahnameh. This era bursts with legendary champions like Rostam, whose courage and strength become the stuff of legend. The tales here are packed with fierce battles, impossible challenges, and moments of deep moral choice. Heroes face monsters, betrayals, and heartbreak, but also moments of triumph and loyalty. Through these stories, Ferdowsi explores what it means to be truly heroic, not just in battle, but in spirit. The final section, the historical age, grounds the epic in the real world. Here, the focus shifts to actual dynasties and rulers, from the mighty Achaemenids to the last of the Sasanians. Ferdowsi weaves together legend and fact, showing how myth and history are forever linked. The stories become more somber, reflecting the challenges and triumphs of real kings and the fate of empires. By structuring the Shahnameh this way, Ferdowsi gives his epic a sense of deep, unbroken time. He invites us to witness Iran's journey from the mists of myth, through the age of heroes, and finally into the realm of recorded history. It's a sweeping vision that connects the ancient past to the present, reminding us that every legend has roots in reality. The fall of the Sasanian Empire to the Arabs marks the poignant end of the epic, a moment of loss and transformation. Ferdowsi's words capture the sorrow of a world that has vanished, but also the hope that its memory will endure. The Shahnameh becomes a tribute to a lost era, echoing with the voices of those who came before. Ferdowsi describes this turning point as the wheel of fate spinning, not as a simple defeat. He urges his readers to remember the glory and wisdom of the past, to learn from it, and to carry its lessons forward. In his eyes, the end of an age is not a failure, but a call to remembrance and resilience. In the end, the Shahnameh stands as both a memorial and a living call to remember, a bridge between myth and history and a testament to the enduring spirit of a people. The Shahnameh opens with the mythical age, a time shrouded in mystery and wonder. The first king, Kayumars, emerges as a guiding force, leading humanity out of the wild and into the dawn of civilization. Under his rule, people learn to live together, to clothe themselves, and to find shelter, marking the very first steps toward a structured society. The world is raw and untamed, but hope flickers as humans begin to shape their destiny. Yet darkness is never far behind. Ahriman, the embodiment of evil, casts his shadow over this new world. He sends his own son to murder Kayumar's beloved child, igniting the first great struggle between the forces of good and evil. This act of violence marks the beginning of a cycle that will echo through generations, as light and darkness battle for the soul of humanity. In the aftermath, Kayumar's grandson Hushang seeks justice. During his quest, he stumbles upon a miraculous discovery: fire. Striking two stones together, he brings forth a spark that will forever change human life. This moment is so significant that Iranians still honor it today in the Sadeh festival, celebrating the triumph of knowledge and light over ignorance and darkness. As time passes, new kings rise. Tamures and Jamshid are visionaries who push civilization forward. They teach their people the arts of writing, spinning wool, and constructing grand cities. Under their guidance, society flourishes, and the seeds of culture and progress are sown deep into the land. Jamshid's reign is remembered as a golden age, a time of prosperity and peace. He brings innovation and joy to his people, but pride slowly takes root in his heart. Believing himself to be a god, Jamshid overreaches, and in his arrogance, he loses the divine favor that once protected him. His fall leaves Iran vulnerable, a land once blessed now exposed to chaos. Into this void steps Zahak, a ruler twisted by Ahriman's influence. Zahak's evil is legendary. Snakes grow from his shoulders, demanding human brains as food. His cruelty knows no bounds, and his reign is marked by terror and bloodshed. For 1,000 years, Zahak's tyranny plunges Iran into darkness. The people live in constant fear, their hopes crushed beneath the weight of his oppression. The land itself seems to mourn, shrouded in sorrow and despair. These ancient stories serve as powerful warnings. They remind us that unchecked pride and absolute power can corrupt even the greatest of leaders, bringing ruin not just to themselves, but to entire nations. Yet the Shahnameh also teaches that history is a cycle, a never-ending dance of creation, corruption, and renewal. Civilizations rise, fall, and rise again, shaped by the choices of those who lead and those who follow. Ferdowsi's myths are more than just ancient tales. They are timeless lessons, reminding us how fragile civilization truly is, and how easily it can be lost if we forget the values that hold us together. As the darkness deepens, the stage is set for heroes to rise, champions who will fight for justice, restore hope, and begin the next chapter in the epic story of Iran. Out of darkness, heroes appear. Kaveh the blacksmith leads a rebellion against Zahak, using his apron as a flag and bringing back the rightful king, Feridun. Feridun's victory starts generations of fighting with Turan, giving birth to Iran's greatest heroes. Zal, raised by the magical Simorg, becomes the father of Rostam, the epic's strongest hero. Rostam, with his loyal horse Raksh, shows strength, humility, and loyalty. His 7 labors, fighting lions, dragons, and demons, show his bravery and cleverness. Rostam is the main figure of the heroic age. His name means heroism in Persian culture. Through him, the Shahnameh celebrates the idea of the selfless protector. The heroic age is not just about glory, it's also about sadness. Rostam's greatest sorrow is accidentally killing his own son, Sohrab, in battle, a painful lesson about pride and fate. The story of Siyavush, wrongly accused and sent away, ends with betrayal and execution, causing generations of war. Siyavush's son, Khosrow, returns to Iran, gets revenge for his father, and becomes a fair king. After doing what he was meant to do, Khosrow disappears, leaving behind a legacy of fairness and mystery. These stories explore the cost of being a hero, the pain of loss, and the heavy burden of destiny. Even the strongest are not spared from sadness. The Shahnameh's sad parts are as lasting as its triumphs. Through heartbreak, it teaches the value of fairness, humility, and kindness. The heroic age ends, but its lessons continue to echo. The Shahnameh's last part moves to history. Real kings, real empires. Legendary figures are replaced by struggles between ruling families, political tricks, and the rise and fall of Persian empires. Eskandar, Ferdowsi's Alexander, is shown as a Persian prince looking for wisdom and adventure. The rule of the Sasanian family is told in detail: wars, court politics, and cultural achievements. Love stories and sad tales like Khosrow and Shirin add depth to the historical story. The epic ends with the Arab takeover, the last king running away, and the sudden collapse of the empire. Ferdowsi mourns this loss, seeing it as fate's turn, not just a defeat. The Shahnameh closes as a memorial to Persia's lost glory. The Shahnameh is the very heart of Persian culture. Ferdowsi's pure Persian saved the language and gave Iranians a shared identity. The epic's heroes, especially Rostam, became symbols of courage, loyalty, and fairness. Its stories connect generations, teaching pride in their heritage and what honor means. The Shahnameh is also a moral guide, looking at good and evil, fairness and unfairness, love and betrayal. Its timeless themes connect with what all humans experience. The epic is like a compass, reminding us that history is shaped by choices and their results. Ferdowsi's work is a living gift, still strong and important today. Through the Shahnameh, Iranians remember who they are. Ferdowsi's 30 years of hard work built a palace of poetry that time cannot destroy. The Shahnameh became Iran's cultural DNA, inspiring poets, artists, and storytellers for 1,000 years. Its influence spread far beyond Iran, shaping books and art across the Persian-speaking world. Today, it stands as a masterpiece of world literature, its doors open to everyone. The epic's themes, fairness, honor, resistance, are still as important as ever. Ferdowsi's gift was memory, a culture's stories, saved for all time. The Shahnameh's world lives on, inviting us to enter and remember.